proudly presents the Horrific Podcast.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 181 of the Horrific Podcast. I am Jimmy. I am your host, and it's going to be a little bit different today. I had said that we were going to talk about us today, but there's so much stuff to talk about with us, and I've just been granted interviews, audio of interviews with the cast and audio of the world premiere that happened at South by Southwest Film Festival. That is going to be a bonus Horrific Podcast this week leading up to our meetup on Friday. So if you are in the Northern California area and you want to meet up with us for a viewing of us, that'll be this Friday. Today's show, though, the other thing that is happening in the nerd world is it's WrestleMania season. It's very much WrestleMania season. WrestleMania season is vastly in full effect as the biggest professional wrestling show takes shape. Looks like it's going to be an interesting one this year. And in that vein, today from Sinister Creature Con was a conversation that I got to have with the Tonga Kid. And Tonga Kid, if you don't know who he is, in the wrestling world back in the 80s, the tag team, the Islanders, I remember them mostly from when they stole the British Bulldog's dog, Matilda. That was a traumatic experience for me to watch in my lifetime. But Tonga Kid, he is part of that Samoan dynasty, the Usos and Umaga. He's actually Umaga's brother, Rafiki's brother. So that whole family, they're very much connected in the world of professional wrestling. It seems like everybody is somebody's cousin. So this guy, he's in it, man. His lineage in professional wrestling is, Hall of Fame worthy, no doubt about it in my mind. And in this conversation I have with him, he talks about that, stealing the Matilda, traveling with Haku, having Bobby the Brain Heenan as a manager, all kinds of cool stuff in this conversation. So I hope that you guys dig it. Wrestling fans, please welcome the Tonga Kid.
Yes. Hello, everybody. All righty.
Right here.
Yes, sir. Okay. I got to put my brother up here because he's like my good luck charm right here.
Yeah.
Okay. Where's my photographer, Oscar? Did he not come in? Oh, okay. Oh, where is he? Okay. All righty. Okay. Oh, I'm good.
Man, and that's a good...
Oh, sorry. I know. Why am I sitting on him? Huh?
That's a good first question, man. Your family is so storied in the professional wrestling business, you guys. It seems like whenever there is a Samoan who is just making a name for himself, making waves, you guys are all related. So what is that family like?
Well, I tell you, at a family reunion, it's crazy, especially when it's dinner time, You can imagine my mom trying to feed all of us, fighting over this one chicken, and there's like 25 of us, But I tell you, it's very important to me, I always say this, it's family first. Always family, because, at the end of the day, that's all we have is our family. So I just wanted to throw that out there to let everybody know how the Samoan dynasty came upon this. It's, being at a picnic. Now, you can imagine, you guys sitting down at Thanksgiving with all these great Samoan athletes, and who's going to get that turkey first? So in other words, if you don't show up, you just completely missed out, you know? So that's the fun part about being in our Samoan family and our wrestling for so many years. You know, it all starts from the great Chief Peter Maivia.
Yeah.
All the way down to Alpha and Sika, the Wild Samoans. Then it moves on down to my brother Rikishi and myself. Now it just spreads on to our kids. You know, they're up in WWE, the Usos, Jay and Jimmy, Jonathan and Joshua, all the way down to Sepa, which is my brother Rikishi's youngest son, Joseph. And then it spreads on into Jacob and Journey, which is my kids. And a lot of them here followed them over the last 6 years. So, I mean, it just won't stop. You know, it's like every time somebody has a baby in our family, please tell me you don't want to wrestle. Please tell me you don't want to wrestle. Go to college. Well, they all went to college. It's just some things are made for people or kids and some ain't. But, you know, my kids were like fortunate enough to tell me, Dad, that I tried college. It's not for me. I want to be a wrestler.
Yeah.
And that's how it is. So we just, you know, they grow. But, you know, same time, again, I'm back to the family. If you don't stand by your kids and support your kids, they're never going to move on to that next level. Rather it be wrestling or anything else in their life, we're the anchor of the Samoan dynasty.
No, there's no question, man. Like, you really are. I mean, you're not only the anchor, you're pretty much the whole ship. As a kid, the memories I have of you, I mean, the whole Heenan faction and just that...
Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Yeah, just the whole locker room in general back then, those characters, they were characters. Wrestling was so different than what it is now, and the characters are more like real world compared to when you look back. Like, I have WWE Network, so you can go back and relive all those matches and those feuds and stuff. What was that like? Because you guys were characters, not just like John Cena. He's great, but he's like John Cena. You guys were...
Yeah, the difference is between John Cena and me, you can see me, but you can't see him. You know, I think back then, you know, like, I remember, you know, one of our greatest match, and it's hard for me to choose back in the days, and our character was, but, you know, it was almost like we helped each other. It was a job. You know, I remember when taping was on a Wednesday, and they aired Saturday morning on USA. I don't know if a lot of you guys remember that, but that's how they aired it back then, you know. But nowadays, everybody has cell phones like we just heard earlier. You know, they have YouTube and all this just moves on. But the best matches that I have and the memories that I have in this wrestling business is no other than his man himself, the Superfly Jimmy Snuka. Yes, the Superfly Jimmy Snuka. And what I mean by it's hard to choose all the matches and people that I went and took me underneath their wings. Of course, Appa and Sika took me underneath their wings, but to be surrounded by legends. Yeah. I'm speaking legends, Rowdy Piper, Superfly Jimmy Snuka, and a young kid that took me underneath their ring and their wings and sort of add me into because back then we didn't have a school. They were actually my coaches. Yeah. Being on the road, like my uncles, they were my coaches.
Learning as you go.
Yes, exactly. And the greatest moments back then in WWF, or my moments were what I explained to you guys, Piper and Snuka. And back then was a lot of tag teams. Yeah. There was a lot of six-man tags, a lot of battle royals. Yeah. I miss those. Now what you see on TV now, as it is back 30 years ago, it's not the same anymore.
No, right.
To me, I mean, that's why I call my Instagram me, I am Tonga Kid. My brother Rikishi gave me that, I am Tonga Kid. Thank you, brother. Yeah. And to keep it real, and that's another thing I try to encourage people to keep it real, because my thing is when they ask me what was your greatest matches of all times, it's hard for me to choose, so that's why I say keep it real. There's two teams that comes to my head, and that's the British Bulldogs and the Heart Foundation.
Yeah.
Those tag team moments, I can't bring those back, but I can sit here and talk to you about it. What are the great matches we had, great time with the guys. They're just good people to work with, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you can put me against the Road Warriors and everything, not that I'm knocking the Road Warriors, but every team has a different style, different way of wrestling, you know. Like, for an example, the British Bulldogs, you had power and you had speed. You had Dynamite Kid with the speed, then you had Davy Boy, which is power. It's almost like the Islanders. You have Haku as a power man, then you had Tama as speed.
Yeah.
You know. Now what you see on TV now, you don't see that anymore. You don't. It's almost like, you know, you have this short limit to work, 2-3 minutes, and then the camera goes off. But you don't see a lot of the tags anymore, a lot of 6-mans, battle royals. Those are the moments that I really miss. I really wish that we would bring back the old school, because it's sort of like we're failing. People are starting to forget us and failing the way. And we want the memory. We want people to understand that we're still around, like myself. I'm still around. I'm still here. Unfortunately, we lost one of the two legends in our businesses, Rowdy Piper and Superfly Jimmy Snuka.
Yeah, just recently too. That was a sad, almost back-to-back-ish type of loss too.
Yes, it was.
That was a bad year for pro wrestlers. There's a lot of them that passed away in that time period.
Yeah.
Ultimate Warrior, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dusty Rose, you know, and unfortunately, you know, when like earlier before I came in here, one of the kids was screaming, you know, he looks like Humanga. He looks like Humanga. I'm going to get to this right here in a minute, you know. And then one of them say, "No, that's Rikishi. That's his brother." Oh, well, we all look alike, you know. We do.
You really do.
We all look alike. I can dye my hair blonde. I can braid it, paint my face like that. I look like Humanga. Humanga can pass for Tonga Kid. My brother Rikishi can pass for Tonga Kid. I can pass for Rikishi, and then blah blah blah. It just goes on. The purpose of me painting this face today was a memory that I wanted to bring back for my brother, you know. And I've never did this. And not at all. I just felt today, because it was Sunday, and there was something in my heart that it had to be done, because I didn't want people to forget him. Because it seems like every time a wrestler passes away, you know, you forget them, you know. But in our family, we believe in supporting each other and helping each other. So that was the purpose of me painting my face today. It's not because I want to look like my brother. It's because I am his brother. And I want his memories to live on forever. And not only his memories, I want his kids to understand that we're here for them too as well. You know, so I just wanted the world to know, and I wanted people out there in the world period to know that our Samoan dynasty, our family, is very strong and very close.
Yeah, it's interesting being attached to Rikishi, who is arguably one of the most popular faces, and being attached to a manga who's arguably one of the most popular heels in his run.
Yeah.
For you, what did you have more fun? Do you have more fun being a good guy or a bad guy?
I had more fun being a bad guy. Because it's easy to get away, you know. It was just, you know, I mean, in regular job, like example, you don't like getting up at 6 in the morning and go do a 12-hour shift, right? It's almost like me being the baby face, a good guy. That wasn't me, you know. I didn't feel like getting up. I didn't want to. But the bad guy, I love that role because I enjoy doing it, you know. And sometimes I'm like, wow, they really hate me, you know? Especially when we stole Matilda, Oh my God, that was even worse.
That classic shot of you guys holding her, like each half holding her, trying to run down the aisle.
Well, it ain't like she was 5 pounds. That thing was like almost 200 pounds. That dog was big and heavy, Just taking her on the road was even worse, It was like another kid, but man, it was just an awesome, it was awesome. I really enjoyed being the bad guy because it was just fun. I love to do it. I love to see the people get mad and piss them off. I'm not like that anymore now. But I can still play the role of the bad guy. Yeah, it was just more fun for me to play a heel than it was doing playing the babyface guy.
Your guys is that was the thing with heels in that time period too, and they still kind of do it. Guys like Paul Heyman, but back then.
Who? Oh, who is that? I'm just kidding.
But back then, I mean, you had arguably the best mouthpiece in the history of professional wrestling. Like you had Bobby. Is there any cool story that on the road with Haku and that group? I'm sure there is, but
well, okay. Now that you brought it up. Okay, so we never traveled on the road with Bobby the Brain Heenan.
No.
Okay, sorry that we lost Bobby the Brain Heenan, but he was a great person. As today, he still is a great manager of all time, Bobby the Brain Heenan. But on the road, we never travel with him on the road. We only see him when we go to the building, and then when we go to the building, he was almost like the private person. He's always had his own room, and just the only time we meet up with him is when we're at the curtain, ready to go out. But we don't see him during that, how many hours we're in the back dressing room with Bobby the Brain Heenan. But on the road, me and Haku had many trips on the road. I love that, man. I got to throw it out there. King Haku, I love you, brother. You and your kids and your family. It's just, he was actually the one keeping me in line on the road. Because I was one of those wild kids on the road, Yeah. I think I stirred a couple, things up, just to see, to piss up some of the wrestlers, piss them off, But I knew I had Haku with me, so I was okay, Keep in mind, I was a young kid. I was only like 19 or 18 years old, and still learning the business at the same time. I was still learning the business at the same time, but somewhere down the line, I guess I've got in. We ended up in the bar, we ended up drinking, and then things got out of hand and crazy. And I kid you not, I seen Haku like take maybe 12, 13 people out.
Wow.
I mean, it was just, that's how strong and powerful that my partner was. My brother, I can say, King Tonga, in a good way, because people always, they either test us or they tease us, or a lot of them, these fans didn't have respect for us. You know what I mean? So when we did that, it sort of tells me, man, we're doing our job pretty good if they're pissing us off, we're pissing them off. So at that point, I mean, those are some moments that we have on the roads. It was a good moment. It wasn't a bad moment, but it's just sometimes people seem to disrespect us after a hard day of traveling and being on the road. I mean, we're human, Mm-hmm. We make mistakes or we can snap like anybody else, Mm-hmm. But back then, it just happened to fall. We were the heels. We were the bad guys on top of that, But I was always the one that liked to stir shit up all the time anyway, But those are one of the good stories that I have out there. I try to save the rest for. I'm sort of working on getting my documentary out there and also getting my book out there. So, thank you.
So you're working on like an autobiography and a documentary.
Yeah, I'm trying to just do it all together at one time. So I got a good team behind me. I got my friend over here that's videotaping. He's one of the greatest photographers here in California. Also, we got John that does all my filming. And it's just you get a good group of teams behind you and people that believes in what you're doing, and I believe in what they're doing. So, and then it just all falls together.
That's really cool. So is it going to chronicle you getting started all the way till now? Or
basically going to come all the way back from the roots all the way to where I'm at today, and then I leave all that up to my advisors, and all I do is follow the instructions and
Right on.
keep moving, you know.
When can we look for that? Do we have an official?
It'll be out there. It definitely will be out there. Like I said, that's where the advisors come in and my managers come in, and we'll probably have maybe another 8 more months or until a year.
Yeah.
So it's in the process because a lot of the ones that I do like to talk to are pretty much, they passed away.
Yeah.
Like an example, I had Dynamite Kid, I had Jimmy Superfly Snuka, Rowdy Piper, and these are all the ones I wanted to talk and before. There's some things I wanted to know, so if it's cool to add in my book or whatever.
Right.
So, but eventually it didn't get that way. It never happened. So, got to find some other loops to go through, some other loopholes, or some other voices. Exactly.
Yeah, ways to put it together. Yeah. Does anybody have a question for Tonga? Yeah.
First of all, whose lens cap is this?
Oh, that'll be my photographer's. Thank you.
Second of all, just kind of a random question. You were in Highlander. You were in the movie as one of the wrestlers that McLeod was watching in Madison Square Garden. What was that like?
That was fun. I mean, to be honest, I remember them. I would think it was in Long Island, New York, at that stadium or where they played the hockey. Mm-hmm. I remember them coming in the back dressing room. I don't know the actor's name. You can help me. What is that actor? The main actor.
Yeah, Christopher Lambert.
Okay, so he came in the back and he had all these guys follow him in the camera. And back then, I think the company that I wrestled for was, I think it was ESPN back then, or Jim Crockett, the promoter.
Crockett, USA.
Okay, you know what I'm talking about, right? So it was ESPN back then. So, and it was the Freebirds. Yeah. Michael, it was the Freebirds. And I think it was me, and I'm trying to think of the promoter's son that was my tag team partner. No, I don't think it was him. So anyways, I'll answer that here in a minute. I'm trying to make sure I don't forget any of them out. The movie, I thought I was part, doing the acting, but I wasn't. It was actually during the match. When they came back there and they said, hey, we're going to go to you, then we're going to go right to you guys in the ring. I was just thankful, unfortunately, that I happened to be the main event on that card. And it was awesome. Now, keep in mind, I do that all the time. I'm wrestling. There is no cuts. There is no rewind. You got to go back. No, I just went through a regular match. But when I seen it on the screen and I was part of it, it was awesome, brother. I was like, man, I didn't cut. I didn't do nothing. I was just part of the movie in that 1 30-second clip. But, man, it felt great. It really did, and especially, being the first, I don't know if it was the first Highlander or there's another big star for Tonga Kid.
Anybody else?
Thank you. I'm glad you brought that up. Yes, sir. Awesome.
I love that movie.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Did you ever, what's the worst federation you had to work with? WWF, AWA, WCW?
Worse than, what do you mean by worse? Like payoff or?
Senior or Crockett, or did you work with, did you have to work with Ted Turner
That's a tough question because there is 90% of the ones you mentioned those are all good companies that I've worked for. I've never had any problem, where there is no worse company, that you can work for. I think that type of question to me, meaning worse, it's almost like it's your contract or your payoff. But other than being the worst company to work for, I don't want to make this sound where I don't want to bury no other company because that's not who I am. I can sit here and tell you this and this and that, but then I won't be keeping it real. So that's why I'm answering your question the same way it is. All the company's been good to me.
Right on. All right. Mm-hmm. We got time for one more. Go ahead.
Thank you.
You mentioned the Matilda thing. This was
we ate that dog a long time ago, man.
this was a different era where if you did something on camera, you had to take that off camera as well. You told me that you literally had to take Matilda with the airports and on the road with you?
Yes. So I'll tell you the story now. What I got, like 4 minutes, 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, so off camera, we have to take Matilda. So wherever we go, we have to take the dog. We got to take him to the hotels. Same thing what we're doing. And in the back of the car, I kid you not, when that dog farts, it stunk everything up, everything. I'm telling you, we're rolling the windows down. We're doing 90 miles an hour. We have to take him. We got to make sure he feeds, he drinks. We got to put him in the dog cage. We got to take him everywhere we go. There's some hotels we take Matilda, they won't let us check in. Like one time we checked in the hotel. I kid, thank God it wasn't my credit card. That dog, we came back from having dinner. We wrestled, me and Haku. We tried to, me and him will take turns taking care of Matilda. We come back, the whole damn room is demolished. Oh. I mean, there was shit everywhere. There was pee everywhere. The pillows were ripped up. I mean, this dog went crazy. And I go, oh my God, dude, they're going to kick us out. Or I like that, I kicking me out. They're probably going to kick your credit card out, but it's not going to be me. But it was a mess. So yeah, off camera, it was pretty hard babysitting that dog. He wasn't even body trained, man. I mean, that thing was shitting everywhere, barking everywhere. I mean, nobody wanted. So the British Bulldog told us what to do with this dog. He's just one lazy dog. Matilda, you nearly got to yank him to get him to walk because he's so fat and he has short legs. So, and sometimes we have to carry him. So we got to make sure he's on the plane. Check him in the, like you check in your bags, and we got to wait for it. We got to pick him up, and then it was a lot. Matilda was a lot of work. I should have made more money taking care of the dog than doing the wrestling, But that was part of the thing, the other part of the act. There's sometimes I just want to leave them at baggage claims, And we'll go to the building, and they'll be like, "Hey, where's Matilda? Oh, Matilda. Oh man, we left them." I want to do it on purpose sometime, but I think it was a she. Yeah. We had to make sure, because she was part of the show. Yeah. Without us walking out with Matilda or no Matilda, there was the
rivalry.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah, thank you for that story.
You're welcome.
Now I will have memories of being so angry at you, like they're stealing Bulldog's dog, and now every time I watch that, I will just default to you and Haku and the dog farting in the car.
But we took real good care of Matilda. I mean, I'll make it short. Any animals you have, love them. Take care of them. I got a dog, my best friend. I mean, we're human. Well, I can say they're human. The good thing about the dogs and our kids, they listen, our kids don't. But it was great. Matilda was an experience for us. And that made me look at animals different. Right. That made me look at any human things, animal-wise or whatever, made me feel different about it, because Matilda helped us get to this, help us know about animals, about dogs and cats and, like that. So I'm real thankful for that, so having a dog. So if you guys have a pet out there, love them just like, love them because they deserve it. They don't know, so take good care of your animals and make sure you body train them. I just can't. Don't do it like Matilda, man. But Matilda put us through a lot, so I don't know if that dog's still alive or not. But if it is, I want to know where it's at so I can go and see it.
Well, man, thank you so much for taking the time.
You're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome.
Give it up for Tonga Kid.
Welcome, man. Thank you, guys.
So there you go, man. There is the interview with Tonga Kid. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're a professional wrestling fan, I'm sure that you did. He's got some, again, the lineage, the history of him in WWE in the 80s. He was in the thick of it, man. It was a good time to be a fan of pro wrestling back when he was in the height, and now it is again with the generations of his family that are active now. He down the line he may come back to Sinister Creature Con, we will see, but later on this week we have a ton of content for you guys coming out in the next 10 days podcasting wise, because then I'm going to be gone for 10 days as I will be doing some traveling to Mexico. Super excited. But so this week, stay tuned. We will have the meetup from Leprechaun that we did last week. That screening room episode will be up, and another podcast featuring the cast and world premiere from us. And then next week we will have our Us Meetup show. We will have a Horrific Network podcast pretty much dedicated solely to Pet Cemetery, the new one. Bunch of interviews, bunch of roll from the world premiere of that. We will have Dumbo still to come, more Dumbo footage, cast interviews from there, as well as some looks at where we are going to be moving forward with the Doorman. All that coming next week. And then we will be, you won't hear anything from us really for about a week and a half. And then we'll be back into the thick of it. But thank you for listening. Bunches to come to keep you busy, to stock up on your podcasting needs here in the coming week and a half. Stay tuned.